Hello, this is Mr. Coursey, and today we're going to talk about how to save your files for turning them in on the Mac in my class. The first thing you should know is we have different class periods, and when they're turned in the Dim Dropbox. All you have to do is just simply drag them in and release, and you hear that noise, and it works. If you drag it in again, it'll tell you the file's already in there. The Dropbox is basically a folder on the server that I can open and access the files, but only you can put files in. You can't go and view the files once they're in there. Only the teacher can. When you are saving, you're going to put your period, underscore, that's an underscore right there, your last name, first initial of your first name, another underscore, and then what I said the file name was. Now this is a file extension, AI. That's for Adobe Illustrator. Now different software have different file extensions. You got a Word document, DOCX, INDD is InDesign. You have JPEG files. You have Photoshop documents. Instead of opening a file, you can just hit the space bar and get a preview instead of opening it in the software and waiting for it to load. Hit the space bar again, it closes. Now if you hit the space bar and it opens and you press the down arrow, it shows you the next file, down arrow or up arrow. So you can easily navigate through and view files easily without having to go through the process of opening the file. Now on your computer, throughout the year, you're going to have a documents folder, and each 6 weeks has its own folder. To stay organized and make files easier to access, you're going to save your work in the folder that in the 6 weeks that you are in. When it's time to turn your work in, it's best to save your file correctly in the 6 weeks folder that I provided for the 6 weeks that you're in to keep your files organized. All you have to do to save it correctly is go File, Save As, and you got this window right here, the little arrow, and expands a little Finder window. And you can go to your desktop or your network folder, wherever you have your name document. Let's say we're in the first 6 weeks. Click in there, and you're going to name it. Let's say we're in first period. So you go 1A underscore. My last name's Coursey. First initials D underscore. And I'm just going to say project. Usually I'll give you a file name to save. You can check hide extension or show and leave it at that and click save. And then your file is named correctly in your first 6 weeks folder. Now to turn it in, we would have set up the Dim Dropbox shortcut, and you just drag it right in. Now normally you wouldn't get to see the files and folders in the Dropbox. So how do you know if your file is in there? Well, if you drag it again, it'll tell you. It's already exists. Do you want to replace it with the one you're moving, or keep both or replace? So I'm just going to click stop. So it'll tell you if it's in there, in case you don't know. But that's how you stay organized throughout the year, is save everything by the 6 weeks. Otherwise, it's going to be a huge mess. Now I just want to show you on my end what it looks like. As you see, I have every class period and every last name. Now, if you name something wrong, put a space, forget the underscore, it messes up how they're all sorted, and it makes it harder for me when I'm grading in the grade book. So try to keep your files or a name correctly. A lot of times I will count points off if they're not named properly. But you see I have all the files from each period for different assignments, and I organize them in file folders. In addition to turning in single files, If you have multiple files for one project, what you'll do is you'll create a new folder and name it with the period, your last name, first initial, and then the project name right there. And then you'll just put all the projects in that folder. And it could be a lot of files or more than one file. If it's just one file, you'll just name it like this and turn it in. And then all you have to do is turn the project folder in. So that's pretty much it for saving files and turning them in Mr. Coursey's class.
Thank you all for watching.
Hey class, if you like this video, please click like below and subscribe to this channel. Also, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.